This is a Rogue Media Network podcast.
Welcome to the Front Porch. Real conversations about life, leadership, and perseverance. Each week, Dennis Polian and Jay Davis bring you inspiring stories and lessons to help you grow, lead, and thrive. Pull up a chair. The conversation starts now.
Welcome back to the Front Porch. We've made it to our third episode. I'm Dennis. This is Jay, and this is our very first guest, our Cajun colleague from the great state of Louisiana, Matthew Boudreaux, who, like Jay and I, has a great journey, a winding road through a few different industries, and has a lot of experience that we think Jay will resonate with our listeners.
Yeah, he's got good hair like me, so we're all set, right? Huh?
I think you have more than me.
That's the only reason you guys
I should have fired it a long time ago, right? I should have given into the process, maybe. Huh?
Makes me feel good about my hair.
Well, they got your good side, too, so
You
you're all
should feel
set.
good.
Jenny will be happy.
Yeah, she will. If she's even listening or watching.
We got 8 loyal listeners out there somewhere, don't we?
Somewhere. Deep in the bayou now with Matt.
Hey, there we go.
So, long and winding path. Tell us how it started, if you are still affiliated with the Tigers,
Yes.
and kind of what brought you to where we are in Central Texas.
Sure. Well, you brought up the Cajun background. So, yes, I absolutely grew up in Louisiana. First 18 years of my life, pretty much in the same town, and graduated high school. And that's where I departed the state of Southern Louisiana, Cajun.
What town was that?
So it's a little town called Berwick, a very small town connected to a little bit bigger city called Morgan City.
North?
No, it's about as
Way
south
south?
as you can get.
Towards
It's
cutoff.
headed out that way.
Yeah.
But if you're looking at a map, you've got Louisiana and you've got New Orleans, and right in between those two, about all the way to the Gulf Coast.
All right.
So, yeah.
You like crawfish?
Quickly. Yeah, very much.
Yeah.
Very much. Only in the spring and only from Louisiana, not that frozen stuff from China that you can pick up
You don't own a
at
shrimp boat, do you?
HEB. No.
By the battery.
There you go. Yeah.
Jenny.
Yep. Oh,
Sorry, I
man.
get a little loose over here.
No, you guys are gonna have some good references today. This is great.
So what was the next step? You went to school, small school in Missouri, right, for music education?
Yeah. So I got a scholarship to leave the state, which was a big deal. A lot of people in Louisiana they stay put. So I had the opportunity to go out of state. School called Evangel University. It's a private school, Southwest Missouri, city of Springfield, and great opportunity. I was looking forward to just to kind of get out, new experiences and things like that. But I was a music major. Majored in both performance and education. So spent 4 years up there. Almost stayed there to pursue my master's, but you're a 22-year-old student ready to make a little bit of money, and had the opportunity to do that. So jumped into the working world.
So, what in your childhood and your upbringing? What made you gravitate towards that?
I've asked myself that so many times. My parents were both educators, and so that's really all I knew. Seeing both of them do the same thing. Mm-hmm. Something in me connected to music at a very young age. Always loved it. I was always amazed by it. I wanted to be the next writer, composer, performer. I mean, everything about it just fascinated me, and I didn't know anybody who pursued it professionally. So I think it was when it kind of took off, and because I had an early interest in it, I pursued that. I was doing all the things as early as, what they let you join band in 5th grade. And so from that point on, jumped in, did that the best that I could. I remember being interested in, you're not exposed to this until later on, but I remember, I guess they didn't have the internet back then, but I was reading things. How do you learn how to...
That's our guy right here that didn't have the internet, huh? We got a contemporary here in the house.
No, there we go.
I had a bag phone once.
Read that.
Anyway, didn't mean
Let's
to.
not get started. He's ready for Medicare next year.
But you hear the lives of some of these musicians, and I would pay attention to that and read about it. And I remember learning how I want to have perfect pitch, and I want to hear a song and be able to write it out on. You hear all the crazy things about these composers. And I remember being 8th grade library. It's like one of those periods where you had to sit quiet, and I had a piece of paper out, and I was playing a song in my head, thinking I was silent, and writing out a note that I was just trying to figure out if I can do it right. And I got in trouble. The teacher said, "Why are you humming?" And I got in trouble for that. I'm like, I didn't even realize I was doing that. But it was just one of those things. It was always internal. I was always thinking about it, always wanting to pursue it. And it just kind of took me down
So
that
was
road.
it from school, home? Was it from church, or was it all the above? Or
At home. My dad was a music fan. He had a piano in the house. He'd play stuff. He'd always be playing music. Had that record player in the corner of the living room. Stuff like that. It was just always there, and always in the back of my mind, and kind of became the same pattern and routine for me.
So I should be more prepared than this, but baritone?
Yeah.
Oh, you're on it. That's why you're here. That's why you're here.
So having
It ain't easy,
Oh, that's fine. Having to study it and pursue it, you have to learn all the things, but that's definitely a more natural thing. It was
Right.
You're liked a little bit better if you can sing tenor, so I had to fake it to do that. And not quite low enough to sing bass, so baritone's right in the middle of there.
So I'm going to hug the conversation a little bit, but so I had a great aunt who was, with the kind of religious undertones here, who was a Dominican nun.
Ooh.
And the ruler. Yeah. Dennis knows. Yeah.
I got bloody knuckles often.
So are you a sheet music guy, or can you now by ear? Or my great aunt could play anything. You could hum it and she could play it. And it was amazing.
So yes to both.
Okay.
Starting out, I really tried to train my ear to where I can do all these things, but because I had the music background, the music education, it's my safety net to have sheet music. Yeah. I was I'm in a band here in Waco, and we were running up some songs this last week, and one of the guys that was on playing there, he's like, "Oh, we'll hear this." I'm like, "That's great. I'm going to write out a chart real quick as we're talking through this because it's my safety net. If I can write out something, I don't have to think and listen as much. It's just right here." He's like, "Oh, well, that would mess me up." I'm like, "It's whatever you learn to be your safety net. If you put a sheet music in front of me, we can run with it. But at the same time, let me hear a song a couple of times. We'll figure it out."
12 notes repeating itself, right?
Some songs, absolutely. Some maybe less than 12 notes.
Now, you're a teacher too, while also performing. And that I imagine that's contributed to a lot of what you do now, which we'll talk about in a minute. But take us along that path, the different places and states that you taught, why you made those moves, and how did they both equally contribute to developing your skills, or did teaching help you as a performer, or did a performer help you be a better teacher?
Shoot. That question, I think it just feeds itself, right?
Yeah.
Kind of, there's a cycle in it. Just coming out of college, joking earlier, hey, I'm ready to start a career, earn some money. And so I think the first place that I moved was San Antonio, Texas. It was actually for the primary focus. I was the music director at a church. And so smaller church, kind of upcoming, trying to build up a team. It's a Protestant church. They're very much involved as many instruments, voices, everybody as you can, build a department, build a team. There's definitely a teaching element. And I think part of the whole education piece is, hey, here's 100 people to manage. You've got people who think they like music. You've got people who have been music majors, and you've got everywhere in between. And so you've got to bring some education skills to the people who need to come up and rise up to this level, but you also have to have some practical ear experience techniques that you bring to the people who are overeducated. And you got to let go of what's all up here and bring it down to what's here and here, and bridge those gaps. And I think that's part of the education question that you're asking, because you can't just run in and say, everybody, you have a sheet music in front of you, let's do this. No, you have to teach it. And in the setting that I was just describing, there is no expectations for anybody to read music. There's just we're going to put this set of songs together. We want to create this result. let's figure out how to speak to each person individually so that we can build this thing together.
So kind of creating a process that suits the environment.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're creating the process. You're also creating the result with that environment heads towards.
So from a creative standpoint, and kind of getting back to that explanation, that point, how do you get people to that maybe know too much, that, I hate to, overeducated, but how do you get them to kind of relent to the process and to the creative side? Is you can have some very talented people on that end of the spectrum that if you can't bring them back to the middle, then you'll never get everything out of them, right?
Yeah, and that's the constant challenge. What you just said was the constant challenge from both ends. I think, pulling somebody from this end to the middle or the opposite end to the middle, you've got to communicate expectations. You've got to communicate what the vision is going to be, what the end result's going to be, so that they can align with whatever they're working through. Maybe eliminate some assumptions, eliminate some skill sets, focus on this, so that we all can work together and get to that.
Yeah, and technical musicians or technical vocalists, are they difficult to work with? I shouldn't say difficult's probably the wrong.
Oh, it's a challenge.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, challenge is a better way to.
Are you projecting what you're like to work with that question?
No, not at all.
Okay.
This is, No, but I mean, in terms of what, trying to maximize people's talent, that's really what this is about, and kind of what we've tried to do in our careers. But, from a musical standpoint, it's a different industry, but it's always the same, right?
Yeah.
In a way, right?
Sure. I mean, anybody who has that bend towards music or even art, I mean, any kind of artistic thing, they have something in their mind what they think it should be, should sound like, whatever image they think it should portray, right? Right. Well, if you're leading a group of people, you've got to get them all on the same page. So you have to give them structure, but yet bring a little bit of flexibility so that they can be themselves and that have that shade of their own expression of that art.
Which is really important in art and music.
Right.
They want to feel defined.
Oh,
right?
for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Individually defined, but collectively sound great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good description. Like you've done it before or something.
It's gold, Jerry. It's gold.
He's Mr. Ovaltine. Now, San Antonio to Southern California?
Yes. LA County. The city was actually Lancaster and Palmdale, so the northernmost part of LA County. I always try to explain to people who were not familiar with that area, if you didn't have a mountain range, it would be just north of Pasadena.
Okay.
But yeah, Southern California, sunny California.
What did you do there? What was that change?
So the connection was, it was another church opportunity, but there were some school elements involved. It was a lot bigger of an organization there, bigger of a church, a lot bigger of a program. And so we got to be involved with, I guess, another level of musicianship, if you will. It was right in the hotbed of where a lot of professional musicians lived. Mm-hmm. And so the opportunity to work with some, recognizable names was appealing, especially as young as I was. And just the experience of starting somewhere new in that part of the country was just very, very attractive.
Mm-hmm. Did you find, as you were there, how long were you there?
I was in California for about 5 years.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So being in that environment culturally, even mm-hmm. though it's still a church, there's a faith and humility component to it, but you're in, quite a different world compared to Texas.
Yeah.
And surrounded by people that on the outside you're perceiving maybe differently than who they are as people and things mm-hmm. like that. Did you find at any point there that was becoming your identity, and you were not at any point maximizing your talents because you were tied into the culture, or were you in an environment where that didn't impact you? Because so many people get tied into their careers mm-hmm. and focused on the career aspect versus who they are as a person and how they're going to function, which then kind of slows your progress.
Yeah. I think at that point of my age, my career, my life, that was probably the place I had the highest ceiling of pursuing what my identity was, what my purpose was, because there was the most flexibility, most opportunity musically. I, at that point, was struggling, okay, is now the time to start my master's? And I applied to grad school and got in and was ready to start all that, and had the most opportunities to play, out on the streets, doing some music stuff there. That was outside of what the typical day-to-day for me was on the earning the money side. And so, I just kind of explored some of those opportunities that were made available to me to figure out, okay, do I like this? Do I dislike this? Am I good at this? What am I bad at? And so that was a great 5 years from the aspect of, okay, where do I want to take this, music opportunity, career? And so that was a huge part of the time when I was there. Another part was, I was married, had 2 kids. So 2 kids were born during that time of my life, which changed a lot of that thought process as well. Changed a lot of purpose in me. So it was, I loved the 5 years out there in California. But it was very far from Louisiana where the rest of the family was.
Yeah, to me, that's so so cool, really, because where you grew up, having lived there when I was at Tulane, knowing that not many people leave the nest, so to speak, or if they do, they come back.
Yeah.
And you went to another side of the country twice, and then one stop in between, right? That takes so much courage. And to try to discover yourself, to try to figure out what path you want to be on. And people, like, we're all in the same age group. When we all went through that, there was a lot of pressure from a lot of people to be a doctor and an accountant and a dentist and just live a kind of a normal experience and get yourself on that picket fence path, I like to call it. So doing that, I applaud you. I wonder, do you think that built in you without even knowing it, the nerve to totally change careers when you were back here in Texas into what you're doing now?
I don't know if you meant to go down that road, but absolutely.
I did. Thank you for saying that.
I think, the independence that it took to move away, to experience something new, to, I don't know, start over. You move somewhere where you don't know a person. You have to have some sort of ability to build relationships and drop roots and all of those things. And so I learned that about myself, that I could do that and be successful and all of those things.
Growing up in a small town, were you questioned about doing that? Were you like, hey, well, what are you doing here?
Oh yeah. Well, I experienced that.
Why don't you like this?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Even for college, it was that. It was like, who leaves town or even the state to go off? And
appreciate
friends
that.
to do that.
Yeah.
But moving to the other side of the country, I don't regret that at all.
Yeah.
That was a great experience. Set me up for a lot of things later in life.
That's fantastic. Well, that's a good place to take a break and hear from our sponsors at the Polian Agency and our friends at the Rogue Media Network. And then we'll be right back with some more Front Porch.
Life moves fast, but the unexpected doesn't care about your calendar. At the Polian Agency, we help successful families protect what they've worked so hard to build. From life insurance to smart coverage strategies, we tailor protection that grows with you, so you're prepared for whatever's next. The Polian Agency, where protection meets purpose. Visit PolianAgency.com or call 254-772-1444 to start the conversation.
Welcome back to the Front Porch. We're hanging out with Matthew Boudreaux, our Cajun colleague from the top of the Alico building here in downtown Waco. We had some great conversation just about really at the end of the day, taking chances, having the courage to follow your gut and your passion. And that brought you here to Texas again for the second time, but around 2011, am I right?
No.
Or no, when you made the change to what you're doing now. Or was it 2000?
That was 2015.
2015.
Yeah.
So 2015, you decide to leave education and music as a day-to-day.
Not quite. Almost. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Tell us about that.
moved back to Waco. Personally, went through divorce. The whole idea through that process was getting closer to home. But I knew I didn't want to end up back in Louisiana and small town where I grew up. So the process,
We love everybody back home,
100%.
right? But
The other side of the country is a little bit farther than the next state over, you know, because I'd previously lived in San Antonio. I knew Texas was a great place and a great state to be in. And so as we were divorcing, the ultimate goal was San Antonio. But she found a job here in Waco that said, let's stop here. I thought we'd be here for 6 months to a year. We'll move on, you know, all that kind of stuff. So I moved back here. And at that point is when I jumped back into the school system. And so, you know, you change state, you have to change your education licensing. So I did that for Texas, and I taught here for Waco ISD secondary for a few years.
Okay.
Because I didn't know how temporary or short-lived it would be. So I taught, after about the third year, I was like, all right, I think I've seen all education has to offer. You know, 'cause my attitude, whatever I'm doing, I'm going to do it at the next level. So before we moved back here, I was at the point of starting my master's. Moved here, I'm like, oh, well, I can still do my master's in music and education, so I'm going to do that. So I got set up, was getting ready to do that, and to the point of, okay, I'm going to lock myself in here if I follow through with this. What else is out there? And just kind of started thinking through everything and trying to figure out, okay, am I okay with doing this another 20 plus years? And that's when the gears in my head started turning. Meanwhile, in the back of my mind, I was on my own personal financial journey of, okay, I've done education and ministry here so far. I've never maxed out my IRAs. There's got to be a better way for me to catch up with all this kind of stuff. And so a friend in California had gotten into the financial industry, and I started blitzing him with questions. I'm like, hey, what do I do this? How do I do this? What's the best way to do this? He's like, hey, look, I'll set up these accounts for you and advise you, but hey, stop it with all the questions. And I wouldn't. At some point, he's like, look, here's some resources. You ask a lot of questions. Have you ever considered pursuing this? I'm like, you know what? No, but something I'm going to look into. And so I was teaching at the time and just kind of started looking into that. And over the next few years, kind of prepared myself for that, what that would look like and how to do it.
Mm-hmm. Were you scared?
Yes, but motivated.
Yeah.
I don't get scared easy. I am more uncomfortable with the lack of assurity. But, you know, I knew myself. I knew how motivated. Yeah. If I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it.
Yeah. Now, did that help you when you started? And I don't mean to cut you off, but when you started, was it as hard as you thought it would be, or did you think it would be easier than it was? Did that belief in yourself get you through any hard times? And did you even think of challenges as challenges? Were you even aware of it? Or because you were so sure when you made that pivot that you were just gonna keep your head down and keep moving because you believed in how you were doing it?
A lot of questions there. I'll try to hit all those. So I think in my mind, I'm like, hey, I'm committed to this. I'm going to learn it. I'm going to learn it well. I'm going to do it well. The whole side of the other side that I was unexpected was the business building side. You know, picture, hey, I'm going to get these licenses required of me. I'm going to go to sit behind a desk and everybody's going to flood and ask for my, to work with me.
Ask for your advice, right? Yeah. It happens in the insurance world too, in case you're wondering.
Yeah. And so I did the whole route that you'd expect, you know, the big box company names out there. I applied there. They hired me. They said, hey, this is our 3 to 6 month training process, and you're going to do this, and then you're going to sign on the dotted line, and you're going to make all this money. I'm like, that sounds wonderful. I get in. The training was excellent. And then all of a sudden you realize, oh, wait, they're starting to reveal a little bit more. You got to sign your life away. Then you got to commit to doing this. You got to go knocking on doors, drop off a neighbor. I'm like, wait a minute, hold up. And so as soon as I kind of realized what the writing on the wall was, I said, nope, no thanks. Thank you for the training. I appreciate it. I'm not going to sign anywhere. And then I started pursuing the licensing on my own. Started with insurance and kind of started doing that while I was still working. and kind of worked my way up. Talked about some of the different investment licenses, and so I started with the easiest first and just worked my way into that. And sharpened myself with the academic side of things, and then realized, okay, I'm not working for a company. I'm working for myself. Whose game? Let me depend on the relationships that I've made here in Waco. The thing I was more confident in that you asked, hey, what your skill sets? Yeah. I was confident in my skill sets there. I love people. I love being around people. I'll talk to anybody. That part was not hard. It was more or less, okay, I've got to create my own business model. I've got to figure out how do I make money in this business. The overarching theme is I want to help people, and so I had to learn how to blend all of those things together to figure out how to do it successfully.
Mm-hmm. Which you had a lot of experience prior, but it's, if anybody's listening to the first, second episode, and it's kind of, it kind of parallels your experience is that, Dennis and I got in the business we're in now and did a total 180, whether it's football, golf, you and music and education and ministry. You know how to talk to people, you know how to relate to people, but now you have a service that you're very passionate about. But it's like, why aren't these people knocking down my door to come in here because I'm a good guy, right? I mean, the three of us are good, ethical, want to do the right thing and help people. You can put the best case together and possible for that couple or that individual. And it's just, how can they not see it? But it's interesting, right?
Yeah. And it's challenging.
It is. Yeah. And it should be really. Yeah. I mean, you've got people's financial future in your hands. Yeah. And it's, I was having this conversation today. It's, you want people who care about people, helping people with life decisions, right? And not just turning a buck kind of thing.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a great point.
Thank you.
That's kind of like Seinfeld's mom. How could anybody not like you?
Sorry, we got some Seinfeld nerds on this podcast. So, yeah.
What was building that business? What would you say was the hardest thing for you?
I mean, looking back, I think I wanted to do everything, be everything to everybody, be an expert at everything. And when I say everything, I mean
everything.
Every type of insurance out there, tax planning, tax preparation, this type of investments, just all the different things. I wanted to know everything and be everything and spread myself so thin. I think if I were to go back and do it differently, I would have probably focused on a narrower line of, I want to say products because it's not about products, but part of the process that, yes.
Solutions.
And focus on that instead of trying to be, hey, I can do everything.
Yeah, everything to everybody. Yeah. And then you dilute yourself so much, you're really not an expert at anything.
Right.
Yeah.
I appreciate you saying that because we talked about that last week. That was one of the biggest mistakes I made last year starting was I was trying to be everything to everybody based on other people's metrics and measurements onto what was going to be a successful business for me and found how, looking back, how distracted I was and how unproductive I actually was. And when I started to hone in on what was really important and what fit my strengths and what fit my weaknesses, it helped me hire better staff and provide better services to my clients. And it changed things rather quickly, mentally and from a production standpoint. So it's good to know for the people out there listening, right? That is a very normal experience when you're starting something new as a business owner or entrepreneur.
You don't want to miss something, right? So you think if I can be so broad that, I've got this huge net where I can handle everybody, but, I can handle everybody, but I can't handle anybody kind of deal,
right.
And it's, if you want to excel and you want to be great, I mean, that's for people that are high achievers, hang out with high achievers, right? And if you've always been a high achiever and you've always been somebody who's not done their best, but not thought about being the best, but done their best, it's just human nature to do that. And then until you've been through it, you don't really understand yourself until you kind of pull back from yourself and realize that I don't need to be that guy or that gal. I just need to be me. Yeah. So, wow, got deep here.
It did. It did get a little deep. We might need to take another break. We'll take a quick break.
I think so.
Come back and try to
Hey, we got a raging Cajun here. We got to get into some sports.
I know.
Too,
We got go Tigers.
Hey, that was
We'll
on
be
my
right
sheet.
back on the front porch. All right.
That was on my sheet. You're Ed Orgeron impersonation.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you got to give me a little more than that, though.
I'll try. I got to get warmed up. Go Tigers.
It's hard to impersonate.
Let's see. So now that's already like 31 minutes. So we can just now talk about. What do you want to talk about? Because we could go on forever. I think it's a good pace.
Yeah, it's good. This is good. I mean, we can.
We want to talk specifically about your business now, and then we can get into football.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, you can ask me about, I guess, how my business has progressed, and I'll just use that to kind of say, this is what I do. This is what I focus on. And we don't have to spend a whole lot of time on that. If we can get to football, it's
okay.
however quickly you want to.
Because this is going to drop on Friday. So,
okay.
Or no, not this Friday.
No.
Next Friday, the 26th. Okay. Who are they playing the 27th?
Oh, that's a big weekend, 27th. That's Ryder Cup weekend. I mean, that's a whole.
There's a lot of football. Well, we can acknowledge that we're recording and all that, and just talk random nonsense, and I'll make fun of y'all's stupid opinions.
They have created earthquakes at Death Valley. Well, you've been in that locker room when they have, right?
Yeah,
that place is shaking.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Are you talking about LSU playing?
Yeah.
Are you referencing who they're playing?
Yeah, who are they playing in 2
Playing
weeks?
Ole Miss on the 27th.
Okay.
At Ole Miss.
That's the week before the bye week. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we'll skip this coming week.
Yeah.
And,
Southeastern.
Because it is Southeastern. So we'll act like this is the 26th.
Okay.
Okay. So, welcome back to the front porch. We're hanging out with our friend Matthew Boudreaux. So we've covered a lot in the last 40 minutes. How has your business progressed now all the way from 2015 when you started?
Yeah, well, quite a bit, thankfully. Wouldn't be sitting here if it hadn't progressed the way it has. But yeah, because I think we touched on this, because I didn't go with one of the big box companies, big banks, whatever you want to call it. I started from scratch independently. I didn't inherit a book of business. I didn't partner up with anybody. It was just me. Just looking around saying, where do I start? And so I had a friend of mine who was kind of leaving the industry, but the primary part of his book was a tax practice. And so he did a lot of tax preparation. He was leaving, going into the mortgage industry, and preparing taxes and processing mortgage loans can be kind of a conflict of interest, because loans are very much dependent upon what your taxes look like. So he was gracious enough to sell me that book of business, and that was kind of my first client book. The last thing I wanted to be doing was preparing taxes, but it was one of the best learning experiences ever, because now I filter everything through tax planning. Sure, we can open up investment accounts, IRAs, the best of them, but if you don't think about how it affects you ultimately in the bottom line of your taxes, you're missing so much opportunity. So all that to say is I bought that tax book from my colleague there, and automatically had 200-300 people that I could sit down with, and that was the best thing that could have ever happened to me. So over the next few years, I just took the time to say, hey, look, yeah, we're going to continue to serve you in this way, but I just want you to know that my focus is doing these things, and talk about long-term retirement planning, talk about what they're doing to save for their long-term financial future, and discussed insurance coverage and everything like that. But that was just the beginning of my process. In developing that, for some reason, over the next few years, and it's not because I sought it out, it was just a natural niche. I just attracted self-employed people, either a 1099 kind of on your own, or a small business owner who has a few employees. And so all of a sudden got really used to developing the systems and processes and structures in place that your typical self-employed people don't understand. How can I set up my finances? What accounts do I set up to save on tax? It might be tax deferral, it might be tax deduction, whatever. They can still operate their business, operate their personal financial setup in a way that they can minimize taxes and save for long-term retirement. And so those first probably 5 years was a learning experience in building, but about 5 years in, just going and blowing and really kind of found that niche there. Obviously, there's still a lot of clients who are 3-4 years out of retirement, and so we can talk about retirement planning and how we can minimize risk to maximize return, and all that's a huge part of the conversations that I have day to day. But the majority of my book is investment management, but I still do a lot of tax planning for people who are still kind of on the early stages of financial wellness, but need to get to the other side of long-term, investment and financial planning.
It's almost kind of you learn the business backwards.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's
Small
exactly
number
right.
to the big number rather
Yep.
than the big number to the small number. Yeah.
And most people need to be aware of both sides, but they don't know to
They
be
don't.
aware, because
Right.
most people don't have the financial education that the world expects from them. And I love that I had to learn that naturally on my own with all my errors to be able to communicate that and bring that education background that I have to the financial world.
Yeah,
That's cool.
that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Now, before we get really serious,
Oh,
if somebody wants to talk to you about that, what you can do, how you help people, where can they find you?
sure. So I know my name is the easiest thing to think and spell. So find me on the internet, MatthewBoudreaux.com. But an easy way to find me is mattandmoney.com.
Go Tigers.
Go
Tigers, mattandmoney.com.
That's right. There you go. There, I like that.
Got it.
But yeah, Instagram, Matt and Money, online, mattandmoney.com.
That's awesome.
Money.com. I like
All
that.
right. Now that we're through the light stuff, let's get serious. You're a Tiger guy.
Yes.
Right? There's
Yes.
a little Waco in you, little Baylor,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
but primarily the Tigers.
Mhm.
LSU
So,
Tigers. Yeah.
Tomorrow,
Make sure we get that
sorry,
out there.
LSU Tigers.
Yep.
Tomorrow, Ole Miss.
Yes.
What do you think?
So last year, the Ole Miss game was it came down to overtime, one play, and it was great. And that was in Baton Rouge. We're going to Oxford this year. I think it's going to be an easier game.
You do?
Yeah, I do.
Whoa.
Hotty
I
toddy.
do.
What are you thinking about that out there?
You listening, Lane Train? That's bold.
I think
That's
we
cool.
win by 10-14.
Oh, nice. It is a hard road trip, Oxford.
Yeah.
Speaking from experience, that's
Yeah, the defense
that's a
looks
tough road
good.
trip.
Perkins, Perkins is healthy. They got he's kind of a bit of everything.
Yep.
Yeah, he's wow.
And Ole Miss's offense is not as potent as they
Yeah.
have been in recent years.
They got that Ferris State quarterback in there now. They had a good game after Austin Simmons went down, but we'll see if they can continue with that. But
As long as Nussmeier stays healthy, can
don't
throw the ball
picks.
around.
yeah. He's got some intangibles.
Yeah.
That are pretty impressive. I thought showed some great toughness so far this season. Well, that's going to be pretty interesting. What was your take 2 weeks ago on the Aggies and the Irish?
That was an amazing game. So we had some family in town. We were at Georgia's. We had both screens up, and so we were watching the first half of both. And I just couldn't believe how back and forth it was. And I'm like, surely it's going to break, and it did not. So by the time I got home halftime and watched parts of the second half, I mean, that thing came down to the wire. I loved it. Loved every minute of it. Living here and having the rivalry hate of the Aggies, which I'm not saying I hate them, but there's some blood there. And then having the Brian Kelly blood between the Notre Dame, I didn't know what to pull for. So I was very torn. Ultimately, I'm like, Aggies, yeah, let's go Aggies. But I forgot I shouldn't say that. This is being recorded. I'm going to get some flack with that. But I was pulling for the Aggies, and I mean that play at the end there, they got out of there with the win.
Yeah, that was something else. Did you watch that game?
I did, yes.
How about the Swedish kid, the tight end? He had the holding penalty on the kick return, and then he came up with the huge conversion on that last drive before the touchdown.
Yeah.
That was my favorite play of the game because you know what's happening to that kid's family online, and the grit he showed to kind of get past that and make an unbelievable play on that drive to keep a drive going later on toward the end of the game. I thought was super impressive. I've obviously, because I worked there, I have a lot of respect for the people there and how they do things and their commitment. But it went to another level. Seeing that, and my nephew just graduated from Notre Dame, was a walk on.
Oh, really?
So I was a little torn, but I thought, not to get on a soapbox, and you can share your opinion, Jay, that game is the perfect example of you need to play a big schedule
Yes.
if your program's like that, because that's good for everybody. It's good for the game.
Yeah. Yes. Has details. Focus on details.
You holding something back there?
No, I'm not. Hey,
He is. Look at his face. He wants. He wants to say
figure out where
something
he's-
so
yeah.
bad.
No, I grew up wanting to play basketball at Notre
Okay.
Dame. So 12 years of Catholic education and Dominican nuns and priests and whatever. But no, I mean, two great universities and two great fan bases, and just it's it all comes back to what we're talking about here today. And not to focus on the holder, but life, our professional life, everything's all about detail, right? And it's just do we feel like the moment's bigger than us, or are we prepared to handle the moment? And not any ill will on that young man. It's just, we're all human, right? Stuff happens, and we just learn from it and figure it out. So now we got some hard hitting questions for you.
Yeah, that's some more wisdom from Big J Davis over there. I completely forgot about that because I was so caught up in what was happening.
Yeah, I didn't forget. So
On the
thanks for bringing
drive.
it up.
But one of the things I thought was awesome was how much support he was getting from his team on the bench, because you can't when your specialists are isolated to begin with.
Yeah.
And they're only praised or recognized for mistakes.
Right.
They're never
Absolutely.
given any credit for what they do well. And it's such a precision type play. He doesn't get over that without the support network on his team, which is a lot of what we've talked about before. In business. You can't grow and overcome challenges without a good support group. But in any event,
Yeah, I had conversation today in the office. Somebody we're trying to develop, and make mistakes. That's the only way we learn, right? God knows I made plenty. I don't know if I've learned that much, but no, it and top down leadership too. I mean that comes from Coach Freeman and the culture, and it's really kind of what we're all about here, sitting here having this conversation. So we're all human. We make mistakes. Support your brothers and sisters out there, and it's not the end of the world, right? It's just a game. Hate to say that, and it's recorded, especially for those fan bases, and for me, kind of being a little bit of an Irish fan, but no, we just details.
that's right. Jay's got a much better personality, so he's going to handle a lightning round here for you. So no thinking, just answer. We screwed it up last time on ourselves, and we thought too much. So just an honest answer.
Okay.
Before I kind of hit this, what's your favorite genre? Well, I'm asking a musician what your favorite genre is. That's not fair, but
Yeah, it's hard. I would say, without thinking too much, rock. I mean, it's just fun to listen to, fun to play. I mean, can engage from both sides.
So would you prefer to write songs or perform live?
Perform live.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. Because if I'm getting analytical here, if I'm writing a song, I'm going to spend all day making perfection as opposed to feeling and enjoying it.
Do you have your own smoke machine?
No.
When next time you perform live, I'll bring the smoke machine, and all I want to do is come on stage with the smoke machine. All right,
Get it in
so
the budget.
little self-indulgent here,
That's
but
hilarious.
I mean, this is lightning round's about you, but obviously, I'd got to interject my interest too. Acoustic guitar, piano, or a full band set?
Full band.
Horns?
Can do without them. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Louisiana trombone shorty?
I know.
Huh?
They're great. But
All right. Joe Burrow or the Honey Badger?
those are the top two Mount Rushmore. For in what setting? For what
See,
purpose?
now we've taken the lightning out of the round.
Yeah, I know. Okay.
Well, hey, you got to have a little thunder with the lightning, right?
I know what my no hesitation answer would be, but I'm curious where you're going, if you're going anywhere with that.
I love the Honey Badger, but I love the swag of Joe Burrow. So again, this is not about me.
I would say Burrow, but
Yeah.
Honey Badger's right there.
Put me some Tyrone. Fishing on the Louisiana Bayou or hiking in Texas Hill Country?
Bayou.
Since I've lived here, I've liked the hiking, but
Yeah.
for the first 30 years of my life, I would have said fishing.
A fan boat or John boat?
John.
Yeah.
John.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's
Big questions.
Ministry sermon or financial planning session? Or both?
Planning. Finish planning. Yeah.
Waco barbecue brisket or crawfish boil? These are hard-hitting questions.
Man. Barbecue now. First 30 years of my life, I would have said crawfish. Texas has changed me. Texas has changed me.
got a trade-off.
Wow. Are you getting NLI money or what? NIL, yeah. So, LSU tailgate food, gumbo or jambalaya?
Jambalaya.
Yeah. I know jambalaya too.
Love a good jambalaya.
All day long.
If anybody wants to sponsor us, by the way.
That's
right. I was going to say something, but I shouldn't. Which
you.
was yes, you're welcome. This is our last one, and this is actually a question I gave a lot of thought to. Leave a legacy of wealth or a legacy of wisdom?
For anybody and everybody, is this a general
It's a lightning round. You can say and do whatever you want.
wisdom?
Like that.
That's a great way to end our talk on today's front porch. Glad everybody could join us today. If there's anything that you took from today, we would love to hear from you. You can contact us at PolianAgency.com, and we'll see you next time on the porch.
We'll keep the light on for you on the front porch. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on the front porch. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to follow, share, and leave a review so more people can join the conversation. Until next time, keep showing up, keep leading strong, and we'll see you back on the porch soon.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production.